Hello everyone, a very good afternoon to all of you. This is Ashwin Ramani, your research analyst at SBI Securities. I hope I'm audible and I hope you all are able to see my screen. If you all can give me a heads up in the chat box. अगर मेरी स्क्रीन दिखाई दे रही है, आवाज सुनाई दे रहा है तो आप मुझे एक बार चैट बॉक्स में कमेंट करके बता सकते हो. So that I know you are with me live in the session. We'll just wait for a couple of minutes. I think मुझे मेरे स्क्रीन को स्क्रैच करना पड़ रहा है. I think now you can see the chat. Okay, great. वो आता था ना पहले स्क्रैच करके अंदर कुछ एक इनाम मिलेगा, वैसे वाला सीन था यहाँ पे. Okay, great. सुरेश जी, good afternoon. Hadi ji, good afternoon. Sudhakar ji, good afternoon to you as well. Parmeshwaran ji, good afternoon. So I hope you all had a great weekend. A lot of developments over the weekend since Friday. Sridhar ji, hi, good afternoon. Namaste, Rakesh ji. So lots has happened over the weekend. I think the major development being the US Supreme Court ruling out, the Trump tariffs, and then Trump levying a 10% tariff on all the countries, and then later increasing it to 15%. I hope he doesn't increase it again to 20% now. I mean, you never know. But I think as it stands now, we are at 15% tariffs. Most importantly, he mentioned there is not going to be any change in the trade agreement, which is hopefully a positive sign. Again, I think both the delegations of both the countries were supposed to meet this week to discuss further on the trade deal. But I think that got called off. I think that is probably got to do with the fact that the ruling has come now. So hopefully, I think India will also try to hard negotiate and maybe hopefully bring down the tariffs. So as of now, the tariff stands at 15%. So I think that's the major development. Secondly, I think US and Iran are going to have talks this Thursday. So hopefully something positive turns out and US doesn't attack Iran. Because we saw, I think crude oil prices went up and I think post the news that both US and Iran are going to talk it out. So the crude oil prices have kind of taken a breather for now. So I think that is one development that needs to be tracked. Thirdly, I think gold and silver prices have again started to go up. I think that is majorly got to do with the fact that the tensions between US and Iran were on the rise, and also our markets had a big fall on Thursday. There was some recovery on Friday, and I think we are relatively doing better in today's session. So I think that is majorly the Trump tariffs. I think that was the major news. Now, if you look at the update on the global markets first, so Dow Jones closed 0.47% higher. S&P 500 closed 0.69% higher, while Nasdaq closed 0.9% higher. So I feel US markets had a good outing on Friday. Dow futures is down 0.55%, so we can expect some profit booking in US markets today. It is indicating a slight flat to negative start to the US markets today. If you look at the European markets, Germany was up 0.87%, London was up 0.56%, France was the best performing European index, up 1.39%. So I think France and India has recently had a deal. So I think we are going to buy a lot of Rafale jets from France. There were some, I think, good deals announced, majorly defense related. So we could see some defense related stocks moving up. But I think there was one negative news as far as defense stocks were concerned. So HAL again, during a routine sortie, I think there was, one another jet that got crashed. So luckily the pilot was safe. So there is some issues that is going on with HAL. उनका I think time थोड़ा खराब चल रहा है for quite some time now. So little sentimental impact on the stock, but nothing fundamentally changes. If you look at the Asian markets, Hang Seng up 2.5%, probably the best performing Asian index. Nikkei is closed. China is closed account of Lunar New Year. So China has been closed since last 5 days now. Kospi, I think Kospi is on a different planet altogether. Kospi is up 0.65% in the last 1 month. It has gained around 20.29%. I mean, where all the other indices are struggling, Kospi is probably on a different highway altogether, up around 20-21%. If you look at Nifty in the last 1 month, we've been flat. We've been just up 0.95%. Today we are up 84 points. Sensex is up around 365 points. So some respite post the tariff ruling. I think that is kind of weighing on the market sentiment today. If you look at the macro indicators, क्या change हुआ है? So as of nothing major has changed. अगर dollar index देखें, so dollar index, I think ये 98 का level काफी important resistance level होगा. आई थिंक जब तक हम 98 के नीचे है तब तक साइडवेज टू बेरिश बायस हो सकता है डॉलर इंडेक्स में. But I think if we go past the 98 mark, then chances are that the dollar can kind of strengthen against the basket of 6 major currencies, and that could probably keep our markets also under pressure. If you look at dollar by rupee, so we could see dollar breaking out. We hit a high of 91.18 on 19th of Feb. But majorly, dollar is consolidating in a range. $1 is almost 90.76 rupees now. So no significant movement as far as dollar by rupee is concerned. Crude oil, if you see, this was the breakout. 72.12 was the high, and I think crude oil prices have kind of taken a breather because reportedly US and Iran are going to negotiate. And hopefully US doesn't strike Iran. I think this was the fear which led to crude oil prices moving higher. If you look at US government bonds 10-year yields, that has seen a mild uptick, but the yields are under control in the US markets. If you look at Japanese 10-year yields, even the Japanese 10-year yield bonds have been on a falling trajectory. Again, it's a good sign. Even if you look at Indian government bonds 10-year yields, we are at around 6.7%. Still, I feel we are at the elevated levels. We want to move below 6.6 or towards 6.5 would be ideally we should come to 6.5%. I think that would be a sweet spot for us. But I think this is also one of the reasons that is keeping the markets under check. If you look at India VIX, so we could see volatility moving up 10% on 19th, another 6.7% on 20th. Today is up around nearly 1%. So some uptick in the volatility, but I think the major resistance for India VIX is around 16. Right now it's at 14.22. I think any move above 16 that could again bring extreme volatility back in the markets. But till the time it trades between that 15 to 12 mark, I think there is nothing much to worry on that front. If you look at gold, so gold, because of the tensions going around, geopolitical tensions, so gold has started to rise. It has broken past its previous high of $5,120 an ounce. It's at $5,154 an ounce now. So gold continues to even hold above its 20-day EMA, which is a key short-term moving average level. So overall, the trend is still positive. I think it will take some time to recover this fall. ये जो fall हुआ था 3 दिन में, I think थोड़ा वक्त लगेगा gold को, but I think over a period of time, I think it should again go past its previous swing high level. Silver also, it's at $86 an ounce. Silver thoda sa weak tha, but I think there is some buying interest that has come in silver as well. But I think silver, the important resistance level is around $90 an ounce. I think if it breaks above $90, I think then chances are that it can move towards $95-$100 an ounce in the short term. That was about the macro indicators. Now, if you look at the FI positioning, again, dampener on Friday. So ऐसे लग रहा था कि FIIs धीरे-धीरे अब फिर से वापसी कर रहे हैं cash market में. But if you see 19, they sold around 880 crores. Friday again, despite the recovery that we saw on an intraday basis, again, FIs were net sellers to the tune of 935 crores. बीच में एक अच्छा बाइंग मोमेंटम पिकअप हुआ था. अगर आप देखोगे देयर वर लॉट ऑफ ग्रीन डेज एज कंपेयर्ड टू द रेड डेज, बट वो मोमेंटम कंटिन्यू नहीं हो पाया. I think post this huge selling figure of 7,395 crores, that has kind of deteriorated the sentiment as far as the FIs are concerned. शायद पता नहीं उनको, maybe they know something that which we still don't know. There are still ambiguity मतलब अभी भी uncertainty as far as the India US trade deal is concerned. अभी तो रेट्स को लेके है 10% होगा, 15% होगा, 18% होगा. अभी तो 15 है, क्या वो बढ़कर 18% होगा? क्या the deal terms will change now considering the tariff ruling? So still there's a lot of uncertainty which is keeping the FIIs cautious. इसलिए हमने देखा कि बजट के बाद भी यूएस फेडरल रिजर्व रेट स्टेडी रखने के बाद भी, जापान के सेंट्रल बैंक के रेट स्टेडी रखने के बाद भी, डील होने के बाद भी थोड़ा सा अनसर्टेनिटी है मार्केट्स में. उतना बाइंग नहीं दिखा जितना दिखना चाहिए था. आइडियली मार्केट शुड हैव गॉन अप, but still that momentum hasn't come in the markets post the budget. But if you look at the long short ratio, FIs have been steadily cutting down their short exposure. So long short ratio has moved to 25% on Friday. So ये budget day के दिन अगर आप देखोगे almost 11.67% था, वहां से 25% हुआ है, which is a good improvement. A lot of shorts have got covered, but still 25% मतलब अभी भी 75% short positions है FIs के पास. But ये जो इंटेंसिटी और पेस ऑफ शॉर्ट कवरिंग दैट हैज काइंड ऑफ मॉडरेटेड. मतलब धीरे धीरे हो रहा है, ऐसा नहीं कि लगातार शॉर्ट पोजीशंस कवर हो रहे हैं. धीरे धीरे द पेस हैज काइंड ऑफ मॉडरेटेड अ बिट एज फार एज द लॉन्ग शॉर्ट रेशियो इज कंसर्न्ड, बट डेफिनेटली अ गुड इंप्रूवमेंट. दिस शुड इंप्रूव, दिस शुड गो अबव 50, तब जाके एक सेंटिमेंट शिफ्ट हो सकता है. तब तक आई फील द ओवरऑल ट्रेंड इज लाइकली टू रिमेन चॉपी, like how we've been seeing right now. Now let's look at Nifty. So Nifty started off on a positive note. So this was 23rd Feb, and tomorrow there's a big event. So tomorrow is going to be the monthly expiry for Feb. Thursday is going to be the monthly expiry for Sensex. So then we'll have the rollover session that will happen on Wednesday. So tomorrow we'll have the rollover. We'll get to see whether people are carry forwarding the positions to the next series, or they are kind of squaring off their positions in the current series here. So that is something that the rollover report will tell us. But Nifty, there was some recovery on Friday. Again, today Nifty made a high of 25,770. एक अच्छा स्टार्ट मिला था निफ्टी को, बट द मोमेंटम काइंड ऑफ फिजल्ड आउट हियर समवेयर अराउंड 25,770. एंड तब से हम एक रेंज में ही है यहाँ पे. अगर आप देखोगे ऑलमोस्ट 11 बजे से लेके फॉर द नियरली लास्ट 2 hours वी आर इन अ टाइट रेंज. I think as far as the intraday movement is concerned, we can probably have something like this. I think अगर हम एक छोटा सा शायद एक पुल बैक आ सकता है. आई थिंक ये एक, अब देखोगे द मार्केट इज काइंड ऑफ कॉन्ट्रैक्टिंग इन अ रेंज हियर. A strong support is at around 25,640. 25,640 एक strong intraday support है निफ्टी के लिए. I think it is just giving a downward sloping trend line breakout. You can see there is some buying interest that is coming in here. So I think if we get a close about 25,680, and if Nifty sustains about this level for let's say 5 to 10 minutes, I think then we can move towards 25,700, 25,710. Extremely intraday basis के मैं बात कर रहा हूँ, with 25,640 acting as a strong support. But it needs to sustain that. अगर ये sustain नहीं कर पाए, नीचे आ गया, तो फिर से हम 25,640 टेस्ट कर सकते हैं. So I think this will be interesting to watch if Nifty holds about 25,680 for the next 5-10 minutes. I think then we can move towards 25,695, 25,700 on an intraday basis here. But a key downside level to watch out would be 25,640, because if we break below 25,640, then हो सकता है ये जो आज का gap है वो fill हो जाए towards 25,580 years. So there is one gap that can get filled. But I feel looking at how Nifty is moving right now, we can move towards 25,700, 25,705. Hopefully, this is not a fake breakout, and we can expect some marginal uptick. Let's see in the next 10 minutes. If you look at the daily chart for Nifty, so Nifty on the daily chart has been making a doji candle. So clearly, again, there is some indecision between buyers and the sellers. But एकदम downside में 25,400, that will be a strong support. दो बार यही level से bounce आया था. This was bounce 1, this was bounce 2. So एकदम lower side में 25,400, that is going to act as an important support. I think for Nifty to move higher, I think 25,885, 25,900, that level needs to be taken out. I think once this level is taken out, we can expect 26,000, 26,050 levels in the short term. Talking about Sensex, so Sensex का भी pretty similar story है. जैसे हमने Nifty में एक trend line draw किया था, वैसे हम Sensex में भी कर सकते हैं. So if we see, Sensex is also giving a downward sloping trend line breakout here. And I think this is a strong support level for Sensex, somewhere around 83,070. That's a strong intraday support for Sensex. I think if Sensex is able to sustain above 83,200, 83,230, it's already above that. If it's able to manage above this trend line for the next 5-7 minutes, I think we can expect Sensex to move towards 83,350, 83,360 levels on an intraday basis here. But if it fails so, then I think it can retest the same level here, 83,070. And if we move below 83,070, then we can go towards the day's low, towards 82,900 levels on an intraday basis here. So I think there is some buying interest that is getting picked up. Even if you see Nifty, I think you can see that it needs to sustain above this trend line. Even Sensex needs to sustain above this trend line here. Above 83,200, that's a key level to watch out. And for Nifty, it is about 25,680. So that is the level to watch out for in Nifty and Sensex. If you look at Bank Nifty, so Bank Nifty pretty much has traded sideways. Of course, one interesting development that came in late evening was the 590 crores fraud involving Department of Government of Haryana with IDFC First Bank. So even they had a con call this morning. They said they have appointed KPMG to do a forensic audit. And I think the management has said that they will kind of fix the issues and will figure out the loopholes in the system. The employees suspected of this are kind of suspended from work now till the time the investigation is completed. So IDFC Bank is down around, I think it was down around 19% in morning. So we'll have to see now. So, but overall, if you see, if the PSU space are still doing well, there is still good amount of traction in the PSU space. If you look at Bank Nifty, I think 61,000, that is going to be a strong intraday support for Bank Nifty. Because we could see it came close to 61,050 and then it has kind of gone up. But I think for Bank Nifty to move higher, it needs to give a breakout above this trend line. I think if it is able to sustain above 61,175, 61,200, then there could be some pullback towards 61,300. If not, 61,000 is the downside support. Below that, I think there could be some pressure that we can see in Bank Nifty. There are certain pockets of private banks are doing well. PSU overall as a sector is doing well here. If we look at the heat map, so you can see HDFC Bank is up 0.51%, Axis Bank is up, Shriram Finance is doing well. Metal continues to do well. Hindalco is up 1.2%, Power Grid is up 1%. Titan is up 0.79%, Reliance is up 0.39%, Bharti Airtel is up 0.84%. No good support from the IT pack. Again, IT continues to be under stress. I think we know the reason for that. Sun Pharma is up 0.49%. So, in fact, there is some momentum that is building up in the pharma space. We'll discuss that in a bit. So overall, I think Bajaj Finance and Cipla, they are mildly negative, but overall, a lot of stocks are in green here. बस इनमें profit booking नहीं आना चाहिए, नहीं तो I think intraday में वो momentum can kind of fizzle out. Now, if you look at the RRG graph now, which are the sectors that are looking strong? So you can clearly see that PSU Bank is one sector that you should be keeping in your watch list. So clearly it's in the leading quadrant, matlab strength bhi hai, momentum bhi hai. It's in the leading quadrant here. If you see a lot of other stocks, but realty is kind of moving down, consumer durables is moving down, media is moving down, infrastructure is moving down. Financial services, if you see, it's kind of gone down here. Manufacturing also has kind of moved down. But if you look at pharma and healthcare, both these sectors are kind of pointing upwards. Even Nifty Bank, for that matter, which is largely driven by the strength in the PSU space. So I feel three particular sectors. One is PSU Bank. Even auto is kind of moving down, though it's in the leading quadrant. So I think PSU Banks, Pharma and Healthcare, these are the three strongest looking sectors for now. FMCG continues to be in the improving quadrant, yet to move to the leading quadrant here. मतलब momentum है, strength नहीं है FMCG में. बाकी सारे sectors अगर आप देखोगे weakening quadrant में, whether it's private banks, Nifty Energy, oil and gas, IT is the only sector that continues to stay in the lagging quadrant here. So strong looking sectors, I feel PSU banks, pharma and healthcare, I feel this is where both strength and momentum is. Now talking about, now that we have seen the sectors, now if you look at some of these stocks, so the first sector that I want to talk about is PSU banks. So PSU banks, clearly अगर आप ratio chart देखोगे, PSU by Nifty, clearly the ratio line is moving higher. Which indicates that PSU banks, it's significantly outperforming the Nifty index. A couple of stocks from the PSU space, one would be Indian Bank. So Indian Bank, post the breakout, it kind of consolidated in a range. And again, there is a continuation move that we are seeing in Indian Bank. I think you can trail the SL higher. So as long as it stays above 945, 950, I think Indian Bank is likely to move higher. If you look at the other bank, that is Maharashtra Bank. So in fact, in the morning trade, Maharashtra Bank had made a high of 71.24. And it has kind of given up some of the intraday gains here. But I feel as long as it stays above the 67.5 mark, the overall trend is positive for Bank of Maharashtra as well. There are other good names, whether it's Bank of Baroda, Union Bank. There are a lot of other PSU sectors that are doing well. I think if you are holding any PSU names, then you can kind of trail your SL to the prior swing low or your prior resistance and keep holding on to your PSU names there. Apart from that, even financial services, if you see, there is some good traction in the financial services space as well. A couple of names, one would be Axis Bank. अगर हम Axis Bank देखें, so clearly this 20-day EMA is acting as a dynamic support for Axis Bank. It kind of consolidated, even अगर आप देखोगे सुबह के session में, the trend was very positive. It made a high of 1402. And from there on, it has cracked nearly 15 points. But if it gives a close above 1385, and as long as it holds above this 20-day EMA of 1350, the overall trend is likely to remain positive for Axis Bank as well. Even Bajaj Finance, for that matter, it is, if you remember, we had discussed this stock earlier as well. So breakout के बाद एक consolidation phase में आ गया, and a consolidation के बाद we have again got a breakout here. So it needs to close above 1030. As long as it closes above 1030, I think it can move higher towards 1055, 1060 levels in the short term, with 1000 acting as a strong support for Bajaj Finance. Then, like I said, pharma is, probably there is some momentum that is building up in the pharma space. And also, हमने RRG में देखा, pharma is also placed in the leading quadrant. A couple of names from the pharma space. One would be JB Chemicals and Pharma. We had discussed this. If you see, we got a breakout here, and post the breakout, JB Chemicals and Pharma, it was kind of moving in a tight range, and there is a continuation move that we are seeing in JB Chemicals and Pharma. So as long as JB Chem and Pharma stays about 2000, the overall trend is likely to remain bullish. So 2019, 95, 2000, that's a strong support for JB Chemicals and Pharma. Apart from that, Biocon. So Biocom is also on the verge of giving a breakout. So the previous two occasions, the level of 388, 389, so 388, 390 आप बोल सकते हो. So this zone was acting as a strong resistance for Biocon. And here the price is now at around 387, almost on the verge of breaking out here. I think if we get a strong close above 390, even Biocon can move towards 400, 405 levels. But on the downside, 378, 379, that is likely to act as a strong support for Biocon. Apart from that, Max Healthcare, in fact, the morning session, Max Healthcare was looking very good. But again, there is some, selling that we are seeing from the 200-day EMA here. It was above its 200-day EMA at around 1,104. But it kind of took resistance around 1,100. That is where the 200-day EMA is placed for Max Health. I think if it closes below 1,070, then chances are that the trend will get negated. But I think if it manages to see some buying pressure at the lower levels and close above 1,100, which is where the 200-day EMA is, then I think it can continue its up move, considering the fact that even the healthcare stocks the index overall is showing strong momentum and strength. And the last stock that I want to discuss is from the auto space, that is Bharat Forge. So Bharat Forge also is coming out of a consolidation breakout. So you can see there was a strong run here, and then the stock went into a consolidation phase. It was consolidating in that 1715 to 1795 range, and today there is a follow-through move that we are seeing in Bharat Forge. So I think as long as it stays above, 1790, 1785, I think this move can even extend higher in the coming session. So PSU banks, pharma, healthcare, some pockets of financial services, and auto. These are some of the strong sectors currently. Now, talking about the concept session of the day. So today, since we saw a couple of stocks with some similar patterns, obviously, I think fundamental, I don't know how many of you all got a chance to look at the fundamental parameters. So today, let me show you one interesting chart pattern, which is called as your flag and pole pattern. तो एक होता है आपका flag and pole pattern. So there are two elements involved in this. एक होता है आपका flag और एक होता है आपका pole. So whenever you hear about these two terms, pole कैसे लगता है? Pole can be like this. एक लंबा pole होता है और ये आपका flag होता है, right? That is how a flag and pole looks like. So similarly, आपको एक chart pattern भी ऐसे ही दिखेगा. So ideally, आपका not in all the cases you will have a flat pole like this, but you will have a slightly slanting pole, and you will have a stock that consolidates in a range, and again the stock kinds of breakout. तो मतलब आपका stock ऊपर 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 जाता है, फिर एक ऐसे रेंज में कंसोलिडेट करता है. सो दिस इज योर पोल, दिस इज योर फ्लैग, एंड देन अगेन यहाँ पे आपको ब्रेकआउट मिलने पर ये फिर से द प्राइस कंटिन्यूज टू मूव हायर. सो इसको हम लोग कहते हैं फ्लैग एंड पोल हियर. सो आइडियली इसका मेजर्ड टारगेट आप निकाल सकते हो. यू स्टार्ट विद दिस एंड एंड यू गो टुवर्ड्स दिस हाई. इसका पूरा आप लेंथ लेते हो, वही लेंथ को आप यहाँ पे रखते हो और इसको रखते हो, तो आपको यहाँ पे पता चलेगा व्हाट इज द मेजर्ड target for flag and pole here. Either you will get a flag and pole like this or you will get a slanting like this. तो ये होता है आपका flag and pole pattern. So similarly, if we see अगर आप देखोगे तो जेबी केमिकल्स एंड फार्मा में भी ऐसा ही है. सो देर इज अ स्ट्रॉन्ग मूव. सो दिस इज काइंड ऑफ, आप बोल सकते हो ये आपका एक पोल जैसे बन गया. फिर ये देखो, ये आपका फ्लैग बना यहाँ पे. इट वाज काइंड ऑफ कंसोलिडेटिंग, और फिर से यहाँ पे एक ब्रेकआउट मिल गया. सो बेसिकली इट्स अ कंटिन्यूएशन पैटर्न जहाँ पे प्राइस ऑलरेडी एक अप ट्रेंड में है, वो थोड़ा सा कंसोलिडेट करता है और फिर से आपका ब्रेकआउट देता है. सिमिलरली इवन इन भारत फोर्ज इफ यू सी, वही पैटर्न है. सो देर इज अ स्ट्रॉन्ग पोल. तो आपका पोल यूजुअली काफी एक वन डायरेक्शनल मूवमेंट होगा. फिर वहां से एक पोल. सो देर विल बी वन flag here, and then there will be a breakout of this, and the stock continues to move higher. So that is how your flag and pole pattern looks like. So if you are able to spot any flag and pole patterns, do let me know in the chat box. So that's all from today's mid market session. That was the concept topic for the day. Now let us start off with our Q&A. If you have any queries, any doubts, do let me know in the chat box and I'll be happy to answer them. Try to minimize the English. I try to keep between Hindi and English. मैं कोशिश करता हूँ कि मैं दोनों लैंग्वेजेस में इक्वली 50-50 रखूँ, बट ठीक है, आई ट्राई टू इनकॉर्पोरेट दैट. Clear? If you have any questions, any queries, do let me know. Manoj ji is asking for Sun Pharma. Sun Pharma is good. Like I said, the overall pharma space, ठीक है. It's just that we need a strong close above 1730. I think if we get a strong close, I think 1700, 1705 is where the support is. If you look at Eternal नहीं, Eternal थोड़ा pressure में I think avoid करना मनोज जी Eternal को, because it trades below all the key moving averages. I think इसका next support is around 250, 250, 255 is where the support is. Atco Pharma good, but I think ये zone के ऊपर breakout चाहिए. Ideally wait for maybe this consolidation breakout, maybe above 905, 910. अगर इसके ऊपर ब्रेकआउट मिलता है, एक स्ट्रॉन्ग बुलिश कैंडल बनता है, इट कैन मूव टुवर्ड्स 945, 950 लेवल्स इन दी शॉर्ट टर्म. Silver bees, see, if you are doing it for a long term, I think I think you can add, maybe अगर आप अभी ले रहे हो, अगर आपको शॉर्ट टर्म के लिए करना है तो you can have your stop loss around 220. Right now silver bees is at around 248. Maybe 220 का एक stop लेके you can add on to silver bees here. Star Cement avoid करना. Clearly no volatility in the stock. I think it's better to you know, avoid Star Cement here totally. NMDC I थोड़ा सा वीकनेस है. आई थिंक 78 का एसएल रख के आप होल्ड कर सकते हो. अवॉइड फ्रेश पोजीशंस. I think if it goes below 78, I think chances are that it can go down even further. UPL में there was some news, right? I think which is why the stock is down. No, the structure is weak. I think it needs to hold above 640. I think there is selling with huge volumes also. I think if it breaks below 640, then I think chances are that the price can go down even further. L&T screener. Promoter holding. Okay, where can we see the promoter holding here in L&T? %, 42. Public is holding 36. Employee trust is having around 14% here. Government is having 0.2, 42, 43, 53, 60, 73, 79, 89, 99. Yeah, almost there is no promoter holding. In fact, a majority is held by the DIIs here. But I think आप public में जाओगे, so L&T employee trust है. So which is holding around 14% here. I think we'll have to wait and we'll have to see why the promoter holding is zero. Let me deep dive into it and figure out why the promoter holding is 0 here, because I don't know the past history. वो एक बार research करके देखना पड़ेगा मुझे एक बार. KRN Namita ji already ऊपर चला गया. That's the thing. I think we had discussed this a couple of sessions back, but it's already run up a lot. I think that is the reason why it's not advisable to enter at these levels. But if you want to take a chance, maybe a tight stop loss of around 890, if you are okay with 30 rupees SL, maybe you can consider that, but it's not advisable because it's already run up a lot. Uh, I think your ideal entry should be at this breakout somewhere around 800, but the fact that it has already run up, sure, risk to reward is not great in KRN right now. If you look at IFCI avoid कर रहा, थोड़ा सा pressure में है. I think the next support is around 55. I think if it breaks below 55, then there could be more downside. On the higher side, it needs to move above 64. Only a move above 64 can lead to price moving higher. Which stock is good to buy in this market? I can't give you a direct recommendation, Asha ji, but I've discussed some names here from the PSUs, financial services, pharma. See which of the stocks are good. Maybe you can also do analysis at your end, and maybe then take a call. So, PSU is strong, pharma is strong, healthcare is strong. Maybe you can look for some of the names from this particular sector. Happy Forging is good. Overall, the trend is positive. I think you can hold with today's low only. I think 1300 का SL रख के आप hold कर सकते हो, सुबीत जी. Yeah, I will look at LNT today. Let me see the history. Then only पता चलेगा. Hind Copper, I think avoid. I think it needs to move above 590. Till the time it's below 590, it can be sideways to bearish. I think so. Avoid Hind Copper for now. IndusInd Bank. IndusInd, in fact, हम लोग I think यहाँ पे हमने draw भी करके रखा है. I think we need a breakout above 950. Till the time we don't get a breakout above 950, it's better to avoid. Kirloskar Engineering. Good. Overall trend is positive. Maybe around 1330, 1335 is where you can trail your SL, but not advisable to enter at these levels because it's already moved up a lot. But I think if it breaks above 1440, then I think maybe you can consider. Correct. There are no more promoter after attempts by Rill and Birlas who settled for cement division of L&T and merged with Ultratech. Oh, interesting. See, that's the reason Sudhakar ji or Rakesh ji has helped you. Havells. Havells good, but I think ये धीरे धीरे ये यहाँ पे बढ़ रहा था, but I feel in जब तक ये 1480 के ऊपर नहीं जाता तब तक it's better to avoid Havells. LG Electronics. LG, I think wait for 1575, 1580. I think once it breaks out above this resistance zone, maybe we can expect some move on the higher side. Trump is very exceptional. Is there any solution, sir, for his gimmicks? I really don't know. Only he knows what he does. But the fact that he comes up with these numbers 10%, 50%, 18%, 25%, 100%, 200%. So I don't know how does he come up with that particular percentages. Is there any working, or is that some random number that he decides to? Okay, 15% on India. Okay, 25% on China. Okay, fine, 50%. Oh, you're buying Russian crude. Okay, 70%. So it's very hard to predict Trump. And but I read an interesting comment. I think this is not any news or anything like that, but I read an interesting comment on somewhere on social media where they are saying some foreign hands are deliberately trying to play this out and try to bring Indian markets down so that they can enter at the lower levels and then push the market higher so that they can enter at good valuations and then push the Indian markets higher. So it was a good perspective. So हो सकता है वो भी हो सकता है कि Indian markets, they might feel that it's kind of overvalued. So for all the big players, smart players to enter in, they push the market down. They play this kind of gimmicks, then enter at the lower levels and then push the markets higher. It was just a matter of perspective. It's like ho sakta hai, that is also possible. We never know, but it's not that we know something like that is happening. Wo pata nahi hai. But it was a good perspective. Like maybe chances are that ho sakta hai, a lot of people want to enter into lower levels and then maybe push the price higher. ABSL AMC good. In fact, very good. Aditya Birla Sun Life. I think you can hold it with an SL of around 890. 890 is a good SL for this particular stock. ITC abhi feel like avoid karna. I think putting excise duties on ITC is very similar to putting STT on futures and options. People are anyway going to trade and people are anyway going to smoke. So I don't think ITC is, going to have that kind of an impact, but maybe it will go up at some point of time. Definitely it will. But for now, I think 305 is a strong support for ITC. Yes, deliberate attempts to make retailers frustrate. I think the moment when retailers frustrate and they were like, okay, fine, trading and investing is not for me, that is when they'll push the markets higher and then they will make regret. And all the retailers will start regretting that up move now. तब तक हम market में बने रहेंगे, but जब भी our patience run out, that is when they will enter and push the prices up. E2E networks, I think avoid karna. It was good, but I think today's correction of 9% has kind of made the, I think avoid. I think iska important support will be 2560. I think if it breaks below that, we can expect more downside in the stock. TLF avoid करना. ओवरऑल ट्रेंड वीक है. आई थिंक जब तक हम 670 के ऊपर नहीं जाते तब तक ओवरऑल स्ट्रक्चर वीक रह सकता है टीएलएफ का. आजाद इंजीनियरिंग क्या बोलता है आजाद इंजीनियरिंग? आजाद इंजीनियरिंग गुड. इट्स एट अ वेरी की रेजिस्टेंस लेवल. I think if it takes out 1755, 1760, there were multiple attempts to move past this level, but it has not been able to. But I think if it goes above 1755, 1760, then I think we can expect a good up move on the higher side. Later this year, FII will be compared to sell to cover up for their losses, though long term our markets will recover. Yeah, ideally, see, long term, there is definitely no doubt, the markets will recover. The only question is when. And the markets aren't going to go low either as well, because I think right now we have good support from the DIIs and retailers. So even when FIIs sell, our markets don't feel the pressure like how we used to feel, in the earlier days. The only thing is, even mutual funds they have deployed some cash, but still a lot of mutual funds are sitting on good cash with them. So the only thing is, if FIs come back, that brings a lot of liquidity to the markets. I think their participation is very important for the markets to have that kind of momentum and move higher. Apollo Hospitals is good. Good. So I think you can kind of trail your SL to somewhere around 7,600 7,600 के आसपास आप ट्रेल कर सकते हो. I think once you get that, as long as it's above 7,600, I think even Apollo Hospitals can keep moving up. So yeah, you can. I think the structure is positive. 7,600 is where the support is for Apollo Hospitals. Okay, so I guess that's all from today's bid market session. I hope it was informative. And I hope you all are sharing the links with your friends, families, and relatives. Only if you are finding these sessions valuable. Okay, so that's all from today's session. So tomorrow is the monthly expiry for Nifty. Let's meet tomorrow at 12:30 now. on SBI Securities YouTube channel, and let's see what the monthly expiry has in store for us. So bye guys, take care, stay safe, and have a good day ahead, and see you tomorrow at 12:30. Take care guys.